Hi guys, I just scanned 40 different pairs across forex, stocks, and metals so you don't have to. And out of everything, only one setup met my criteria for high profitability sell this week. It's the EURCHF. Here is the exact breakdown of why we are shorting it and how you can join us and profit from it. So stay tuned as we go into the journey together to find out how we are shorting EURCHF this week. We started off by looking at the whole CHF pairs. So what we did is that we have grouped all the CHF with all the major trading currencies here, and we are looking at what the CHF is doing around the whole board. So on the weekly time frame, that's where we start everything from. We could see that on Euro CHF here, there is no bias on the left that will probably stop these sells from continuing down. And GBP Swiss franc too, we see this small buy here, big buy, sorry, but then they have reacted and still the sellers looks very strong. On USD CHF here, we see that there is no bias to the left, but prices reach here and they reacted aggressively before they try coming down. So we hope that next week this move is going to go down. But looking at the Swiss franc here, what we can see is that this is the last price buyers started pushing up from, and sellers have come in very aggressively. So we know that these sellers are not going to just quit from here because they have shown massive interest, which might scare these buys. So we are not going to look at this because it's going to take time for both parties to decide whether this thing is going to go to the upside or whether it's going to continue to go to the downside. Now we come to card CHF. You could see that prices have been here before. Buyers attempted to go, but they couldn't accept the price to go. Prices have come back there again, and this is all the reaction they have been able to do. So that gives us hope that on this card CHF, it is really going to sell for this week. When we look at CHF Australian dollar, we could see that the Australian dollar has been strong for quite some time, and this is just a mere reaction from the Swiss franc to go to the downside. So looking overall for next week, CHF looks like it's going to react in a positive way across the board. But then there are some pairs like the Aussie, like the yen, the Japanese yen, like these two, just these two are the worst pairs for the CHF to really continue flowing to be strong. But the other ones, there is likelihood that as it is going to be strong next week, there's a chance that there's no buy here on the euro to stop it. There's some sort of a buy here, but there's no buy on the USD to stop it. And the buyers here have already reacted to the price here, which might help to continue going down from here. So we come to investigate the four pairs that we have chosen, which is this one, the Euro Swiss franc, USD CHF, and then the card CHF, to go into details what to expect next week and which one is the best one to choose from. So let's go into the Euro CHF now. So yes, we are back into the Euro CHF. What did you see? Price came in here, buyers bought a bit, but then prices have shown that it is going down again. So we want to see what transaction happened here to make the buyers decide to give up for the sellers to continue for the sellers to continue selling. So we go to one time frame lower, which is the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame we can see that the sellers came down to this price point here and they held for some time before sellers breaking through it all the way down, giving us a direction that this market wants to sell for a while before buyers step back in again. Now the buyers prices got to here, they reacted aggressively, almost back inside the range that it broke out from. But then we don't see any transactions that happened or that went on here for the sales to come back again. What made these buyers get scared for these sales to start dropping down? So we go to one time frame lower, which is on the 4 hours. And when we get to the 4 hours here, what we see is that the buyers started from here and they pushed up all the way up to here. They required some sort of discount before they continued their journey up. Now, when prices got to here, the buyers required discount. So that the first discount that came in was giving them up to here, but then they pushed up and still came right back down again. They required all the way down to here, this discount price. And what happened? Buyers stepped on it to buy again, but still couldn't show interest like the way they show this interest here. So if you compare what happened here to what is happening here, that tells you that the buyers that were buying before here, they are no longer interested in buying. This is exactly why we took this trade in our circles. This trade here, almost, if I'm to zoom in onto a lower time frame, you can see it clearly. It almost hit our stop loss before reversing back down and still going. So going forward this week, I'm still looking at continuing to sell this EURCHF, which is the Euro Swiss franc, for it to go further to hit the first TP here and even go further down. So that is the first among the Swiss francs that we have looked at. So guys, let's continue to look at the USD CHF. To continue to look at the USD CHF, so we started on the weekly time frame, and as you can see, this is the story the weekly is giving us, that prices have started from here and it dropped all the way to here. Since then, there is a hold. Market is moving sideways until something happened to break this to go down. So now the market has taken shape. The market has decided that they want to really go down from here. When prices get to here, buyers bought all the way to give these sellers just 50% discount, and the sellers looks like they are continuing from there. But we don't know what actually went on here, what transactions took place there for the sellers to decide that, okay, enough is enough, these buyers are not coming again, so let's continue the sales. So we need to go and find out there. When we go to one time frame lower, which is the daily time frame, what we can see here is that at this price point, buyers came in, sellers still said give those buyers 50%, and the buyers said, oh, okay, we like the 50% price, let's continue buying. So when they reach this price point here, the buyers said that this price is expensive for us, you need to reduce price for us to buy again. So in this case, the seller said, okay, fine. They reduced the price for them up to like 30-40% off the whole move that started from here. If you compare this sale, it's almost like 30-40% only. But then at this price, buyers said we are not interested. So sellers said, oh, okay, these buyers are not enough for us. Let's see, if we give them more discount, they will still buy. They have given them more discount back to the place where it all began. And what did the buyers do? The buyers said that we don't want to buy as compared to the last time that it got there. They are saying that they don't like that price. By so doing, and that tells me that the buyers here have decided that the same price that price came and they are not buying, they don't want to buy. If so, I am interested and curious to find out what actually happened here when they were giving the 100% price point, to see what is going on, the transactions that went there. So I come one time frame lower just to look at that area again. And as you can see, I try to pick a trade there, and then it stopped me out with this wick before going out. So this is the price that they were offered here at the 100%. And look at that. Buyers showed interest, huge interest. But sellers again gave them 50% of that, and they still were buying. So at this point here, I'm very sure these sellers here will be convinced that, oh, there is enough buyers, let's hold on. Now, sellers gave them 20%. They still showed interest in buying. They gave them even lesser than before. They were still buying all the way. So every signs here show that these buyers are still interested in the buys, but they were not hitting the previous highs that they got to. So that something was wrong there. Although buyers are showing interest, why is it that this price here is so expensive for them to go higher? Then the obvious thing happen. If you are selling and no buyers are buying, you have to reduce prices for buyers to come in. So they reduce price all the way to here, almost 90% of these buyers here. And the reaction from the buyers at first was aggressive, not as compared to what happened here. They gave them this price, they still couldn't make a higher high, and then they give them this price again, and this reaction. So just a quick one. The reason why this trade did not work is that I didn't wait to see how far these buyers are going to take it. You see, so in this case, what prevented this trade from not working is that the buyers on the 4 hours had not given up yet, and I entered way too early, thinking that these sellers here are going to help me push it through. So that's just a quick post analysis on this trade, the mistake that got us stopped out there. Now, from here, at this price, the buyers shoot all the way aggressively up. And what happened? They required even a much lower discount now for them to buy. They tried, they still couldn't get higher like they did the last time. So eventually, what all of this is trying to tell us from the weekly, the daily, now to the 4 hours, is that the buyers are no longer interested in buying USD Swiss franc, but rather they are interested in offloading the US dollars now. So going forward to next week, I am looking forward to it that these buyers have given up. These buyers have been giving almost 80-90%. So the decisional point is going to be around where this TP was supposed to be, to see how these buyers here are going to react when prices get there. And if it is not a strong reaction than it is here, then we continue to sell downwards. All right, guys, so far so good. Are you following? Are you getting it? All right. Okay, let's continue into it. So this is the second one. Down. Let's go to the last one on the Swiss franc, which is going to be the card, because the other ones we already discussed that they are not all that favorable in where we want to go. So here we come to the weekly time frame, like the way we started from there. And on the weekly, what we can see from the card Swiss franc is that prices were coming down. Buyers were attempting to buy, and then they step up to buy from here aggressively from this price point here. They were offered these prices here, but still the buyers couldn't buy high. Even came here, they still couldn't buy high. Now they have been offered this whole price back again, the last time where they shoot to go up, but still they are not buying. They have been offered even a much lower price than this price is here, and still it is just a rejection, not showing any clear intent on buying. So this is the story that we see from the weekly time frame. So let's go to the daily to see exactly what is happening inside here, what transactions went on here that is making these sellers continue their journey down. So when we go to the daily time frame, this is what we see. And this is the wick that we see on the weekly, and this is the reaction here. So you see on the weekly, you might think that, oh, this thing is ready to sell. But when you come to the daily, it is giving us a different whole new story. The story that says that they were giving this price and then the buyers shoot up aggressively here. They required these discounts here, discount here, discount here before they were able to make a higher high here. So now the journey is like this, comes down, higher high. So from that area here, this is the last price these buyers used to make this high here. They were giving 50%, the buyers did nothing here. Now they have been giving 100% and even lower. Buyers did nothing again. So my point here and what is going on here and what this price action is telling me from the daily is that if they have been giving all these discounts and they are still not interested in doing the buys, there is only one way. If the market is not buying, it is definitely going to sell. And where is the next logical point where buyers once bought from? And it is around these prices here. So if we could really look at it very well, they have been giving just 50% of this, which is here. But they have not tried this new price for the buyers, this new price here, this new price here, this new price here. So as much as this thing is looking to go to the sell side, it needs more confirmation from the daily guys, because we don't know how these buys here are going to react. Because of that, I'm going to rule this card CHF out until maybe Wednesday, where we have had 2 days of price action to see how the buyers wants to do and what the buyers really are looking at doing, whether to continue their buys, whether to accept these new prices that are coming here or whether they are not. And if they don't accept it around Wednesday, Thursday, that is when this move can really travel to go down. So that is that for the CHF pairs. So very well, guys, we have come to the end of the video. By now you know the reason why we decided to go with the Euro CHF instead of the other ones, because the Euro CHF has already shown us that all the buyers on the way are dead almost, and they are not showing any sign of really buying. So that is a perfect pair for us for this week to continue doing the sales. So we hope to catch you on the next one, and stick and stay with this channel. Every week we promise to give you this over and over and over again. Bye for now.